Welcome back. It's Jesse Rowe with Inside Fighting, and we are joined with an incredible guest this week. We've got UFC flyweight, the Jamaican sensation, Ode Osbourne. What's up, man? How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Thank you for joining me. You're fighting Jafel Filho, UFC Fight Night, Tabora
hmm
versus Tuivasa. It's a pretty exciting matchup. Just before I'm gonna have a series of questions for you here. But before we get into it, like, what do you think of this matchup? How are you feeling about the fight? What are your predictions for me?
I think it's a good matchup. I've always fought my last fight was the first time I fought like a wrestler, and I've always fought strikers, so I've always done striking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Including my last fight, I just did a lot of striking. And after that fight, I was like, you know what? Let me go back to being in wrestling mode and doing a lot of wrestling for, you know what I'm saying? That's what I should have did in my last fight. I put a lot of hard work in, but in the wrong places. This time I'm going back to my roots, going back to, it's not like I have to learn anything new. You know what I'm saying? That's a good thing. He grew up grappling. I know I'm not an idiot. I know he's a good grappler. Won't catch up to his grappling, but he won't catch up to my wrestling. That's the neutralizer. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I do believe wrestling is the grappling kryptonite.
So how do you see it going? Where do you see this fight being more of an on the ground fight? Do you see it staying more stand up? How do you see it ending up? Like, what's
I
your prediction?
every fight I have, I look to finish. I see it. I'm gonna say I'm gonna look for finish. That's
Yeah.
that's what I'm going to look to finish him. No matter where the fight ends up, I'm going to look to finish him. That's how I fight. That's my fighting style. Where it's a fight. So I'm going to go in there and try to finish him.
Well, I'll be making sure to check it out, but I wanted to get your take really quick because we have a big flyweight fight coming up this weekend. We got Royval versus Moreno. Just want to sort of get your diagnosis on that. What do you think about that fight? What do you think about that matchup?
Ah, man, you know what? This is one of those fights where I just don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know because Royval in their first fight dislocated his shoulder.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't know what you would have seen otherwise. I saw when he fought Pantoja, and it looked like he was coming back. So this is one of those, man. It's an up in the air fight. Um, Again, Royval took a loss, and when I noticed when he loses, he comes back even stronger. So it's going to be interesting because Moreno is such a force. You know what I'm saying? He just keeps on coming. He just goes and
Yeah.
goes and goes and goes and goes. So it's one of those fights. If Royval keeps his distance, he gets the job done. If Moreno keeps the pressure on, he gets the job done. And again, it's hard to see what's going to happen in a 5 round fight, as well as having a healthy Royval where his last fight, you know what I mean, his shoulder dislocated. So
Yeah.
it's one of those, man. Man, I don't know. I don't know. It's just one of those that I it could go either way.
It's interesting because Royval it wasn't the original opponent. It was supposed to be Amir Albazi, but he got
Yeah.
injured. So he's sort of not like a short notice replacement, but a semi late replacement. I mean, the fight had already been announced for a couple of weeks by the time that he took the fight on. Does that factor in at all, or do you think that he's had enough time? Maybe is that an advantage? Is that a disadvantage? What do you think?
It depends on what Brandon has been doing in his camp. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's all that really matters is how has he been training? If you've been training really hard leading up to this, then it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if not, then Royval is going to get the edge. But I'm not in his camp, so I can't really say.
They both are coming off of tough 5 round losses to the champion Alexandre Pantoja.
hmm
So, just in terms of in the division right now with the landscape, who do you think has the best chance of beating Pantoja at this moment?
I would say a good matchup for him would be Muhammad Makayev. I
Yeah,
think Makayev would be a very good matchup for him.
yeah, I agree with that. That was sort of the name that was swirling around in my head. A
hmm
sleeper pick that I had in my head, which you're very familiar with, and I wanted to get your thoughts on this really quick, would be Manel Kape. But unfortunately, he did miss weight by 3.5
Yeah.
pounds in his last fight. You fought him, and you unfortunately took the loss, but you have been in the octagon with him. What were your thoughts when you saw that Kape miss weight by that much? Because he
I
kind of took
forgot
some
about
heat from the MMA community over it.
Yeah, you know what? I forgot about Cop. I'm gonna go back and change my pick. I say Cop. Cop. I think Cop will get the job done.
Yeah.
Honestly, I do feel like Manil will get the job done. Um, though with him missing weight, man, he missed weight with me about 3 pounds as well. So
Oh, he missed weight by 3 pounds when you guys fought? I didn't
about 2.5 pounds. Yeah,
I didn't even realize that. I was like doing all this research. I didn't even realize that. Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
it's tough when you go in there and you cut all that weight, and you know what I mean. You're a little
Yeah.
bit depleted, and what did frustrate me a little bit was that he didn't try to cut the weight when he realized that he wasn't gonna make it. He just called it off and said, I'll just lose the 20%, which I thought wasn't really fair.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna complain and cry about it. I'm gonna fight. It's a fight. You know what I'm saying? So if he can get the weight, if he can get his weight managed right, I think Manil can beat Pantoja. But yeah, he's missed weight with me. I think that was the last time he missed weight in the UFC. And
Right. No,
then,
I knew he did. I just didn't realize it was against you. Like it just
yeah,
completely. Yeah. Okay. Got it.
yeah, about 2.5 to 3 pounds. I don't remember the exact amount, but it was
Right.
definitely 2.5 or 3.
Yeah. I mean, does that, I mean, that has to be like a factor when deciding these title
Oh,
fights too. I mean,
of,
it's like,
of course it is, because if you think about it, if one fighter, depletes themselves and cuts the weight and the other does not, your explosion is here versus the other fight where it's the other fighter who's
yeah.
not as explosive. And then in the later rounds, you know what I'm saying, you have more energy.
Yeah. You're less
So
drained.
yeah,
Right.
it's you know what I mean. It definitely, there is an advantage, but again, fighting, it's fighting. You know what I mean. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. 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 All right. Well, I wanted to get a couple more quick things here. Is I follow you on Instagram earlier today, and I got a kick out of some of your Jamaican Instagram reels that you've done about how Jamaicans just Jamaican reactions to certain things. I thought they
Yeah.
were very funny. So go check out his Instagram because it is
I'm
very clever.
actually I'm actually making one. I'm actually gonna post one today with Joaquin Buckley.
Oh, that'll be fun. That'll be a funny one.
Yeah,
That
it's a Jamaican one as well.
nice. Well, I wanted to get your thoughts on, fellow Jamaican, obviously UK guy, but Leon Edwards. And you saw the report that he accepted all three title fights.
Mhm.
So you got Leon accepting three title fights. You got Aljamain fighting on UFC 300.
Mhm.
Are we seeing like the next wave of UFC? We're getting
I
a
hope
new,
so, man. I
yeah,
hope so. You know what I mean? I really do. Randy Brown, you saw him
yeah. We know
from
we're cool with Randy Brown. One of
yeah,
our head writers, homies with him. So
yeah, man.
yeah,
So the wave, man, is coming. Randy looked spectacular too. He's from
yeah.
Spanish Town. Leon and I actually were born in the same hospital in Kingston.
Oh, no kidding.
Um,
Okay.
yes, Jubilee is the name of the hospital. So even not in the UFC, ass kicking Jackson, what's his name? From Bellator, he just won the title.
Oh yeah,
Jamaican.
yeah. Isaiah Jack. No, 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 no.
His fight name is the ass kicking Jackson.
Right. Yeah, yeah. He beat Nemkov. Right.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
So man, Jamaican. It's interesting because there's not a lot of resources in Jamaica. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's just not. But if Jamaicans can, train here in the U.S., man, we are going to be a problem because, we just breed athletes. Our country is just set up that way. In
Yeah.
school, all we do is compete in school. That's all it is. We're just competing constantly. So yeah, man, I'm excited to see, like you said, the next wave of Jamaicans, man.
Love it.